Have you ever wondered what people would say about you at your funeral? I have. And I didn't just wonder, I actually went. No, I'm not a ghost, and this isn't some weird prank. Let me explain. It all started with a bizarre mix-up, a case of mistaken identity so extreme, it's almost unbelievable. One morning, I woke up to frantic calls and messages. People were crying, offering condolences to my family. I was so confused. Then I saw it. An online obituary with my photo, my name, my life story, but with one tiny, crucial error, the date of death. Apparently, a man with a very similar name had passed away in another state, and somehow, our identities got crossed. The funeral was scheduled for that weekend, right here in my hometown. My first instinct was to correct everyone, to shout from the rooftops, "I'm alive." But then, a strange thought crept in. What if I just went? It was a crazy, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see how I'd be remembered. So, I made a plan. I needed a disguise. I couldn't just show up as myself. I found an old pair of glasses, a hat that covered most of my hair, and a coat that was a couple of sizes too big. I practiced a slight limp and lowered my voice a bit. I decided I'd be a distant cousin from out of town, someone nobody would recognize. My heart was pounding as I drove to the funeral home. Was this a terrible idea? Absolutely. But I couldn't turn back. Walking into that room was the most surreal experience of my life. There were flowers everywhere, and a large photo of me, a picture from a vacation years ago where I looked happy and carefree. Seeing it there, surrounded by grieving faces, felt like a scene from a movie. I saw my best friend, my parents, my co-workers, all looking so heartbroken. It was a punch to the gut. I grabbed a program, my own funeral program, and sat in the back, my hat pulled down low. I was a stranger at my own farewell. The service was about to begin, and I wasn't sure my heart could take it. The first person to speak was my boss, Mr. Henderson. I always thought he saw me as just another employee, another cog in the machine. But he stood up there, his voice thick with emotion, and talked about my dedication, my positive attitude, and how I once stayed late to help him with a project, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. He even mentioned my terrible jokes, and how they somehow made stressful days more bearable. I was stunned. I had no idea I'd made that kind of impact. Sitting there in my ridiculous disguise, I felt a tear roll down my cheek. I wasn't just a number to him. Then, my college roommate, Sarah, went up. We hadn't been as close in recent years. Life just got in the way. But she told a story about our freshman year, how I supported her through a tough breakup, bringing her ice cream and making her watch cheesy comedies until she laughed again. She talked about our late-night study sessions and dreams of changing the world. She said I was the bravest person she knew. Hearing her talk about our shared history, a history I thought was partially forgotten, made me realize how deep some bonds go, even when time and distance create space. It was a powerful reminder of the connections we forged. The most difficult part was watching my parents. My mom was holding my dad's hand so tightly. My dad, who I'd always seen as the strong, stoic one, stood up to speak. His hands were shaking as he held the paper he'd written. He didn't read from it. He just looked out at the crowd and spoke from the heart. He talked about teaching me to ride a bike, my first day of school, and how proud he was of the person I'd become. He said I was his hero. I was a complete wreck, hiding my face in my hands, sobbing silently. To hear those words, to feel that love, it was overwhelming. It was a raw, unfiltered look into my family's heart. After the eulogies, people started mingling, sharing stories and memories. I stayed in my corner, just listening. I heard my colleagues share funny anecdotes from the office. I heard my cousins remembering childhood summers. It was like watching a highlight reel of my life, narrated by the people who were in it with me. But I also heard some things that were harder to swallow. I heard an old friend mention how we'd lost touch and how much he regretted it. I heard someone say they always meant to apologize for a silly argument we had years ago. It was a stark lesson in unspoken words and missed opportunities. As the gathering started to thin out, I knew I had to leave before someone got too curious about the mysterious cousin. I slipped out the back door, my mind reeling. The whole experience felt like a dream. On the drive home, the world looked different, brighter. I didn't feel sad. I felt awake. I had been given a gift that almost no one ever gets, a chance to see my own legacy. I saw the love, the friendships, and the small, everyday moments that actually mattered most. The things I worried about, my career goals, my minor insecurities, none of it was even mentioned. It was all about kindness, laughter, and connection. So, what do you do after you've attended your own funeral? First, you make a lot of very confusing phone calls. Explaining to my parents that I was alive was complicated. There was shock, confusion, tears, and eventually, immense relief. The official mix-up was sorted out, and the news of my resurrection spread. Some people were angry, some thought it was hilarious, but everyone was just glad I was okay. For me, it was a turning point. I started living differently. I call my parents more. I reached out to that old friend, and we patched things up. I try to make more time for the people who showed up for me. That day taught me that the life we build isn't in our accomplishments. It's in the hearts of the people we touch. Don't wait for a funeral to tell people you love them. Don't let regrets pile up. Live a life that, if you were a fly on the wall at your own memorial, you'd be proud to hear about. My fake funeral was the most real awakening of my life. Thanks for listening to my crazy story. Remember to cherish the people around you, and maybe don't try this at home. Follow for more stories about life's unexpected adventures.